Well, hello there, guys, and welcome back to another episode of All Quiet in the Trenches. I wanted to give a huge thanks to all the feedback we got on the first episode, and I want to let you know that if you want to leave some additional feedback, please feel free. If you haven't seen the first episode, I'm going to leave a link down below. Make sure to check it out. Well, guys, unfortunately, Dunner got hurt, very badly hurt in our last battle, and of course, now we need to focus on other things, namely what we're going to do here in camp waiting for the next battle. And I love being able to just go around and kind of take a look at different areas. I want to take a look at the field kitchen here and talk to Field Cook Zelensky. That is an interesting name to say the least. I know it's not the same spelling nonetheless. So we're going to be doing some work for him likely in an effort to get additional, rations, things like that. And just, basically do whatever we can here in camp. You're the new group's Unteroffizier, right? Field Lieutenant Hennig, responsible for supplying the troops. I'll allocate some supplies to your group immediately. This should last you until the next supply shipment. Talk to me if you need anything. Here's to good cooperation, Herr Unteroffizier. All right, what should we do here? So, you know what? I think I'm going to offer help. The artillery is using a lot of ammunition these days. My people have already complained that they can hardly keep up. There's no harm in having more helpers to load the cart. I'll take as many as you can spare. Okay. Now, the only problem here is that if we start unloading carts and doing this sort of stuff, and we get a job from our officer, we're not going to have enough men to do said job. Nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Wonderful. Just got the delivery from the field lieutenant. What size ration should I give your people? If you want to do something good for them, then I would suggest double rations. Just talk to me whenever you want to change your troops' rations. Okay. I think are sufficiently filled, so no reason to worry. I'm going to ask for double rations. And the reason is this is very early on in the war. The guys are, they're new to this. I think it's only fair that we help them out just a little bit here. Let's go ahead and leave that, and we will proceed to the next day. I'm Sister Elizabeth Ritter. I organized some field hospital here. Okay, defeat is good. What? Okay, don't worry. Donner's doing pretty well. He will soon recover from his wounds. So we've got some good news here. Donner is looking all right. Despite being wounded, he's looking okay. I'm honestly glad you were overwhelmed so quickly. The shorter a skirmish, the fewer dead and wounded. That's not good. As far as I'm concerned, yes, the lieutenant can throw a fit about losing the trench line all he wants, but I'm content with not being overburdened and nobody dying under my care, just because we don't have enough time for proper treatment. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we should be focusing on the men or the officer? And if so, why? That's got me a little bit concerned. Okay, I could reprimand her or agree. I am going to reprimand, believe it or not. I'll be back to saving lives now. Or do you think that this conversation is more important than the lives of your comrades as well? She makes a good point, but again, we've got to stay on the officer's good side. And it looks like with the officer, our prestige is average, but it's approaching good. And with our men, they're neutral. They could either take us or leave us. We're going to go ahead and proceed to the next day, guys. Set up camp, Herr Unteroffizier. Sooner or later, we'll get our chance to pay back the French. When I saw the soldier Alfred Lotze at camp, he was inspecting his assigned rifle with great interest, almost as if he was memorizing the design. Keep it up. I like that. So he's, doing what he has to do to remain alive. Professional interest only. I'm a toolmaker, he muttered, as if he was in no way interested in being a good soldier according to my standards. Good to have you with us. That's simple. I'm going to kind of play both sides a little bit. He nodded gratefully and turned back to his rifle. And there we go. Nearly a week passing by there. And it looks like we've got an additional soldier here. And we've also got Donner back, which is fantastic. So let's take a look here at Donner. I've been released from hospital, Herr Unteroffizier. I'm still a bit bruised, but I'm feeling a lot better already. The rest will surely heal soon. I want to go ahead and ask him about his personal issues. Okay, nothing about the personal issues. That's good. Let's take a look here and see what or who wants to talk to me. All right, our new guy, and look at that. He's playing cards. How cool is that? I am Peter Leinecke. I'm supposed to report to you. If you need something done, I'm happy to help. Okay, let's ask about his personal issues. What about his origin? Okay, he's from Augsburg. You probably know it, don't you? A big city in the Kingdom of Bavaria. We lived there together in a small workers' flat. Let's ask more about his origin. Augsburg is a city full of workers. Until a few years ago, we still had many textile factories. In recent years, however, the workers seem to be switching more and more to brick production. Okay. What about his family? My sister Emma and I grew up with the older sister Marie and her husband Fritz. I'm very grateful to Marie and Fritz for taking us in. We didn't have much, but we had each other. All right, I'd like to think that we've gotten him on our good side, but of course he's just one additional troop here. We can't be going out giving him any special treatment or anything like that. It also looks like over here, guys, we have an excellent mood with our men. We're still at the average prestige with our officer, but things seem to be okay. Bonjour, monsieur. Are you the Herr Unteroffizier whose people pitch their tents right at the camp entrance? My name is Marion Laroche. I am one of the village elders in our community. Since I can speak German, I try my best to mediate between the residents of the village and the soldiers of the camp. Okay. Is she asking for food, or are we asking for food? I don't think we need it. If you're in urgent need, we can share it with you. No. We're not in urgent need. Let's continue. Rats everywhere. Herr Unteroffizier, they're devouring our food stocks. We have to do something. Oh, no. Okay, so let's see. Is there anything else? Our supplies are running low. Okay, so we got to go back to rations, and we've got to do meager rations for now, unfortunately. And we also have to do something about pest control. Now, since Leineke is new, I think he gets the unfortunate task of cleaning up the pests. And since our friend Donner has been relaxing in the field hospital, I know he was wounded, we're going to actually send him to also do the pest control. The rest of the guys can simply set up camp. Okay, these villagers are suspect. I keep hearing stories of attacks by Franc Tireux. I think that's French sharpshooters on our comrades along the front. Organize some patrol through the village, Herr Unteroffizier. Show the French who's in control here so they don't get any foolish ideas. Okay. Now, we could ask for additional work on top of that, but I'm not even sure we have enough men to take on the additional work. So for now, I am just going to do what he says. Patrol the village. We'll send in Kohn and Lotze, and we'll leave Weilinger back here. In fact, we should switch Weilinger with Lotze here. Let's send him down, and we'll just put Weilinger, just because Weilinger is a little bit less fatigued. So let's proceed. Okay, one day Lotze was supposed to receive an exceptionally large Liebesgabe. Did I say that correctly? This particular parcel contained a generic letter of encouragement and quite a few cans of food. Okay. I should suggest he share the contents with his comrades. Look at me. Damn communists. I suggest he share the contents with his comrades when I gave him the package. Of course, Herr Unteroffizier. And the reason is because we were undergoing those supply issues because of the rats. And I think this would really, really help. So there we go. Another week has gone by. Quite interesting, and it looks like we've got another guy, Schmidbauer. I have been assigned to your group. We're getting a lot of additional guys in our group. That's kind of cool. Any personal issues? Family? Got married as soon as my first salary. I just don't know what my wife is doing home all alone now without me. She doesn't have anything to do all day. I'm sure she does, but I'm hoping it's not what I think it is. Okay, what about his origin? I come from a small town near Leipzig. I much prefer it to the big city. In our little town, we know each other, we care, and people know who I am when they see me on the street. The children always duck and cower. Okay. That's a little concerning. Nonetheless, it's good to see that we've got a whole bunch of troops now in our regiment, and hopefully they are going to be extremely helpful here as the war goes on. Herr Unteroffizier, the latrine is filled to the brim. Someone should take care of that before it overflows. And you know what, Franz Wellinger? Guess what you get to do? You get to do latrine fatigue. But of course, Herr Unteroffizier, he's more than happy to do it. And let's make sure. So he's physically fit. So he can certainly do the work. He's got the meager rations. He's very pragmatic. He's very sociable. Fairly diplomatic, somewhat cautious, and very compassionate. So I really don't think he's going to be too concerned with this at all. And we've got somebody cleaning up the latrine. It's unpleasant, but it has to be done. Someone will have to do it. And if not, you can see here, delay will have consequences. So this is really one of those jobs that we need done quickly. We can't just put it off. That's not going to help us out. Now over to headquarters. Let's see what's going on here. Logistics Officer Hennick. The officers are dissatisfied with me because by now, even the quality of their rations is suffering from the current supply bottlenecks. I have a suggestion how both of us could help each other through a trade. Are you interested? Let's see. If you give me some of your canned meat and have a man move all of it, I'll give you a bigger bread rations for your people in return. Well, this will make your rations more boring. You'll end up with significantly more daily rations than before. Okay. You know what? You got yourself a deal. You've got yourself a deal. So we're going to send poor Con, man. Just because he's always in good shape, I have to send him to do these tough jobs and tasks. But again, someone's got to do them. Let's also talk with our officer here, our lieutenant, and see what he wants. Took you long enough, Herr Unteroffizier. The Major ordered the start of the offensive this morning. Unfortunately, we don't get a chance to win fame and honor just yet. We're in reserve for the time being. Make sure your men are ready to move out at all times. After all, we don't want to disappoint the Major once it's finally our turn. Understood? And I'm also going to ask for more work. If you order some of your men to help dig trenches, I'll take a positive note. The more you can spare, the better. Okay, let's do that. And so here's what we're going to do. Oh boy, we could send a lot of guys to dig trenches, but I'm going to keep Lotse back because he seems quite tired. And I'm going to send the rest of the men to dig additional trenches. Do I have a minute? I don't. Oh boy. What does she need? Thank you for taking the time, Herr Unteroffizier. Sister Elizabeth seems tense, even though the field hospital did not seem too crowded at the moment. Please follow me, she mentioned, and led me to the post of the hospital towards a barren patch and a land of series of shallow ditches dug in a line, graves. I heard there's a new offensive coming. Elizabeth paused and turned towards me in dire seriousness in her eyes and pointed towards the graves. Well, we're going to need a lot more of those. Do you think you could spare some of your men to dig more of them? I'll see what I can do. I don't know if I can actually help her because we've only got one man. It looks like we need 2 to dig graves. So we can do it. It just means that fewer men are going to be helping with the trenches. So I'm going to send Leineke over there as well as Lotse. All right. For the most part, we were able to defend our food stacks, Herr Unteroffizier, but the rats keep coming. What? Okay, only handing out meager rations. Man, like what? That is just unfortunate, man. We got to do more pest control, but we're supposed to be digging trenches. What's more important, digging trenches or digging graves, right? Man, I hate it, but we've already had issues with food. We're going to have to avoid digging trenches for now. That's just the way it's going to have to be. It's been an interesting run so far, but, you know, it's just there's some things we can do and there's some things we unfortunately cannot. It looks like also just with the trench work we've done, the prestige is growing with our officer. The sight of armed soldiers in our village is always unsettling, but your soldier Khan behaved very decently on his patrol. Look at Khan, man. He is so awesome. He does the most work out of any of the soldiers. He is nice to the villagers. I'm going to feel really bad when he gets hit by a shell. I really am. Now, we could offer help, but we are not in a position to do that. We don't even have enough to help ourselves at the moment. After my deal with the Floyd Lieutenant, Zelensky could only give out extremely small portions of meat. While the rations were being distributed, some of the men grumbled discontentedly about the situation. Oh boy, I don't know if I should explain the trade. I hope none of them is a rat, if you know what I mean. I explained the trade that I made with them. Less meat for us in exchange for more other rations that would nourish us longer. It took some time to calm them down, but eventually the men accepted my explanation. Some nodded in agreement. Others seemed rather sniveling, but no one showed any resentment. That's good. All right, guys. Here we go. One evening, Schmidbauer was sitting in front of his tent, polishing his boots with dedication. Lotze came up and quietly watched for a bit before asking, "Why do you even bother? We'll just get dirty again." Schmidbauer frowned. "So, do clothes in homes and still you clean those, don't you?" Lotze shrugged, "But those won't get dirty every other step. Our boots do, especially in this mud. Besides, who am I supposed to impress with my shiny boots around here?" Hearing that, Schmidbauer paused, laid down his cleaning rag, and locked eyes with Lotse, his expression somber and grave. Honor demands that a German soldier is to represent the Vaterland at all times. With a contemptuous downward gaze, he added, and your boots are a disgrace to the Vaterland. Okay. I am going to say, clean your dirty boots. I think that is the appropriate approach and response here. Donner had settled in effortlessly in many regards. As a professional soldier, many things come very easily to him that other new soldiers had difficulties with. He even became a kind of mentor to some of his comrades, whom he could even help out with his wealth of experience. However, word had gotten around that he was an Alsatian, basically a Frenchman, as some people put it, even in his presence. One evening, he stood in front of my tent and asked for a word. Herr Unteroffizier, is my origin a problem for you? And I'm going to say not in the slightest. And it really isn't, because especially on the border regions between Germany and France, there were quite a few, people of both ethnic groups. And that's why you get names like Donner in a German regiment, and I'm sure you get some French names or some German names, pardon me, in French regiments. It's going to happen. So he looked relieved. You'd better not advertise it too much. Yeah. Donner hummed discontentedly. Well, I will continue to give neither you nor my comrades reasons to question my loyalty. That's right. That's what's important. Unfortunately, that's the way it's got to work. Lotze had been getting drunk all evening with some of his comrades. It was already late when all of a sudden he bellowed into the crowd. So bollocks! How much longer are we supposed to crook in the mud for this bloody war? Oh boy. Drunken soldier shouldn't be taken. No, I'm going to say it was my job to be there for him. After a while, and soldier, you mustn't lose heart. We need you here just as much as any of your comrades. And this is also because Lotze has been great so far anyway. So let's trust him on this. Madame Laroche, the speaker of the nearby French village, greeted me with a smile, but quickly cut to the chase of why she'd come to meet me. Your cannons have been thundering day and night, and the villagers are scared, she explained. Especially the younger children. They're suffering. It was only in that moment that it occurred to me that our artillery truly had been firing almost non-stop for some time now. Of course, the distance of constant grumbling paled in comparison to the actual impacts we faced on the battlefield, and I had learned to put the noise out of my mind, or perhaps my hearing had just gotten that bad. Yes, indeed. Until the Major decides it's been enough. Okay, guys. Well, that's going to be the end of episode 2. Again, if you would be so kind as to hit that like button and share with your friends, leave a comment down below, whatever you need to do. I really do appreciate it. It makes sure that I get these episodes out a lot faster than I otherwise would. And again, with the feedback we got on the last episode, we got this one out pretty quickly. So thank you so much. See you on the next one, and hopefully we'll be beginning our offensive. Or not, depending on what side you're on. Take care, my friends.